when you think back on this season, why do you think the offense was probably never able to get to the point you guys wanted it to get to?
It was a challenging year. It's a challenging year. Knew it wouldn't be easy. I knew it was going to be hard, and it was some I definitely embraced as the year went on. It just wasn't enough. So, however you want to skin it, we didn't do enough. And so, obviously, going back to the drawing boards.
Was there anything in your parting meeting today that addressed future changes that potentially could happen in the coaching staff and personnel?
No, I'd speak more so on just having a home base of what we do, who we are, and obviously we really made an effort to establish an identity along the way. Ultimately, it was a bit too late, and I always got a lot of confidence when we step out on that field with this group, with this team. It just wasn't our turn this time around.
When you look at yourself inwardly, what are some of the things you want to work on?
Well, I think, again, speaking towards having a home base and where we operate offensively, I accept the change. I accept that those things come, whether expectations are met or whether we're making Super Bowl runs. I've experienced both ends of it, and so I have a unique perspective on that. So I'm not going to allow that to be an excuse, for us not to make championship runs and for us to not have the success that we desire and that I desire. And so that's what motivates me most. Obviously, every year is different. Changes are inevitable in a number of ways. But my focus is on growth. My focus is on improvement, and my focus is on embracing the challenges that come with where I am in my career.
Can you expand on what home base means? What do you mean by home base?
Home base, offensively, is another word for identity and where we sit and where we where's home base. I mean, I want to kind of describe it for you and wherever your home base is, and that's the comfort zone of where you laid your head, or however you want to look at that. I'm describing it in the same way of that being home base. It was a challenging year with that.
Do you know where the home base is?
We've got time to figure it out. Again, this is obviously not how we wanted to end things, and being not even 24 hours off of it, still processing, but obviously I felt that enough to be able to say that today.
Ideally, what are the things in an offense that you want?
Say that again.
Ideally, what are the things in an offense that you want?
I just want to win. I want to win. You play the game to win championships. You play the game to play for championships and put yourself in those opportunities to win championships. And so, obviously, that starts with having cohesiveness and great sequencing and having a flow where everyone's on the same page and going out there and doing that. And so I think that's been the humbling thing for me as a leader. I've been able to learn more about myself, more about my team, and more about what it takes and what demands of a quarterback, and just growing throughout my time. And so those are the things that I relish in and I take great pride in. And like everything that I've experienced to this point in my career, is something I'll be able to learn from and be better from. And so I look at this opportunity, I look at this as no different.
You've been through a lot of offensive coordinator changes. I'm just curious, out of the way of searching for a home base, how would another cycle of that get you anywhere closer to that?
Yeah, well, the changes have not prevented us from having an opportunity to go on championship runs. And so with all the changes and with all the things that have gone and changed over time, we've still found ourselves in the playoffs, and we still found ourselves in positions to be in the tournament and play in the tournament. And so, I think competitively, I don't like the trend of, wild card, big time, and wild card. And so, alluding to the loss, obviously, so competitively as a quarterback, as a leader, that's a big focus of mine, trying to break that.
You used the word comfort. How looking back upon this season in general, I guess, how comfortable are you with being uncomfortable with things that maybe you aren't great at?
Yeah, I think that's the essence of what my career has been. You know, can't say you that every situation I've been in has been the most comfortable, but I've been able to find my way out of it and find ways to win and find ways to success. And so that's a part of growth, and I've never run away from growth.
So you don't think that there were things in the
this season was going to, you knew it was going to be challenging. Was that just related to the change in play caller, or was it more than that?
I think just overall, everything that we had, and just everything that we experienced as a team, you know, it presented its challenges in itself, and I think it's easy to take and hard to keep. What I mean by that is it's easy to go out there and have the drive, and collectively speaking now, we're going to go win a championship. When you're talking about duplicating a championship, you're talking about repeating. It's hard to keep it. You know, it's easy to take, but it's hard to keep. And so I'll be working myself to create the opportunity, you know, once again to try and do what we weren't able to do this time around. But it's base one. It's back to work. It's you know, whatever it takes for me.
I ask you this each year, but each year is different too. What say do you want to have or do you expect to have in what happens this offseason?
I mean, I think overall my line is always open. And so however involved or whatever level of inquiry I am, I'll definitely be available. Ultimately, I'll put my focus on controlling the things that I can and giving my best. And, you know, in the end, however you want to skin it, as I said, we didn't do enough. And, you know, when I say we, it always starts with I. It always starts with the man in the mirror and myself. And so I'm very critical on that. You know, I think, you know, in terms of things being inside my box and outside of my box, it's an innate thing to be able to figure it out. And, you know, I figured things out many times before, and this time I didn't figure out enough to get us to the next round. And so it's upsetting. It's definitely frustrating, but it is a pain that I know will inflict something better.
There's
Has
always
your
pressure.
perspective evolved in your career about how much you're willing to speak up when it comes to the roster, the personnel, you know, the system?
It has evolved. It has evolved. I think some things come naturally in time, and I think also you got to have a level of humility too with the things that you can control. I mean, there are a ton of things that are out of my control, day in and day out. I've used the word influence. We've talked about that. Obviously, I try to use the influence for the best good and betterment of the team and trying to win. Ultimately, you know, when I self-assess and I look at myself, which I will take a deep dive with this time that we have, the goal would be to try and improve that and that itself. Not controlling what anything else looks like, but saying, you know, how can I improve as a player? How can I improve as a leader? And you know, I think I've seen great opportunity in everybody, you know, regardless of what we're running, how we're running it, what we're doing. And it's so important to have everybody on the same page. And obviously, I think that approach changes and where it starts, because we've had a different OC for the last number of years. And so that voice, that change of voice, it does impact that. And that kind of gives the backside to what I mean by home base. But no challenge is big enough. You know, that's my mentality with this. I hate that, you know, I hate that it ended this way, but I know we'll be better from it.
We get 60 to 80 guys together in a locker room in a team sport. Everyone has their agenda. Of course, there's a team goal, but everybody has their agenda, what they want to do, what they see for themselves. As your voice and stature has grown in this organization, how important is it to you to be the guy who keeps everyone in unison and keeps the main thing, as you say, and kind of the stuff that doesn't even have to do with football. Keep people on the same page so you guys can ultimately be successful on the field.
It is important. It is important to keep the main thing, stay focused on what the collective is, while accepting and knowing that everyone is going to be driven by different things. And so I think having that common mindset and having a collective team goal is very important. And then also knowing the fact that you have to go earn it. And I think this goes to my previous answer and question to Zach is, this year we didn't earn it. We didn't earn the right. And so we've got to really learn from everything that we've experienced, be honest with that, and grow from it. And I got a lot of trust in Howie, Nick, Mr. Leary, and everyone and how they operate to put the team in the best position to be successful.
Two more. We're going to take two more. Jalen, you've talked a lot in the past about continuity. You're talking today about the value of continuity at home base. You do have the opportunity to have that with Kevin Petullo. Do you want him to come back as the offensive coordinator?
It's too soon to think about that. And like I said, I put my trust in Howie, Nick, and Mr. Leary.
What about AJ Brown? Would you like AJ?
AJ and I have talked. We're in a great place.
Last one.
I know y'all can talk to him and ask.
I know one play can't encapsulate the whole different coverages you got across the year, but maybe we'll tell a little bit. That last one, just the window that was there for a second, the lessons that you learned from that play. What do you kind of take from that play and how you try to approach the whole season with different coverages you got?
And I think when I look at the game yesterday, and I think it was a common theme, amongst the coaches and how we were vibing as a unit, receivers, tight ends, O-linemen even. We felt like we saw the game very clear. And I think that's one of the more frustrating things is the confidence that we had within the game and what we saw and how what we were seeing in the game, and then not to come out on top of it. And so I think there were all things that we could control that we just didn't take advantage of. A lot of opportunities that we didn't take advantage of, and I think that's one of them. But just having the things available to take advantage of what they're doing, and then going out there and just attacking them and being a step ahead. I think things are a little bit hard because at times we were a step behind.
I only can speak for myself. Maybe some guys felt like that. Me personally, I feel like the reason why we didn't have success this year is because we went to a Super Bowl or hangover effect or whatever you call it. Give ourselves the opportunity to get to the playoffs and get a chance to repeat. We just fell short. That team came out and played better than us. It hasn't been times that had anything to do with what happened last year, how long the season went, or winning the Super Bowl. It's tough. It's tough to do. I don't really know the numbers on it, but how many teams have went back-to-back and how many teams won it back-to-back. It's a hard thing to do. We're trying to accomplish that, and we fell short.
Were there challenges that did come with being defending champs that maybe you didn't think would be there, and you couldn't realize they're there until you actually see them?
Nah, I don't think it had anything to do with being defending champs. You're gonna get every team's best. Everybody want to knock you off. I think it just came down to we weren't detailed enough to do a lot of these games. We didn't put together a complete game as a team, especially on the offensive side. I don't think it had anything to do with the year prior. I think it was just something that we battled and we struggled with it this year. I truly believe each year is its own year, and the stuff that we battled with, we tried our best to improve and to get better from that, and we just didn't do a good enough job. When we got to the playoffs, the same, like I said yesterday, and after watching the game and reflecting on it, I agree. It's a common theme. guy who I was talking to is how many games this year, especially the offense, that you can say we put together 2 halves. It's not a lot. The same thing happened to us. The difference is sometimes we figured out the way so we can the season. At this moment, we didn't last night. It's the playoffs. It's not the NBA. They get 7 chances. 7 games, get 1 game,
Saquon, I know you kept up with what needs to change.
When you talk about possibly flipping the switch in the playoffs, is that something that you guys actually believe, or is that something that you're kind of telling yourself just to get to the postseason?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's who we are as competitors. I was having that conversation a little bit earlier with Mo. You have just because of the supreme confidence we have in this organization and all the players here, because the way we work, the way we go about it, and it just wasn't connecting, it just wasn't clicking. So you just have, the belief that when it matters most, we're gonna make sure we get it right. And I think the question you just asked is I don't really know if I have the right answer for that, but you got to do some deep diving on all of us, because I think it's either one or the other. And unfortunately, no matter what it was, we didn't get a job done.
As you look at the offseason, what needs to change?
What needs to change? It's a loaded question right now. We're one day removed from it. One day removed at the end of the season. I know there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of opinions, but and I'm not just saying this because there's cameras and mics in my face. It's how I operate. Before I go saying what someone else could have done better, I got to start with myself. And I think we all need to do that, because if we think that there's one problem, we think that there's one reason why we weren't successful as a team and why we weren't successful as an offense, and that we had nothing else and we had nothing to do with it. No matter what happens, we're going to be in the same position next year. What needs to change in the offseason, we got to learn from our mistakes, and the leaders on this team, we got to learn from them. We got to be better, not let things slide, and hold each other accountable, and use this as fuel and emotion and fuel to get us ready for the next season.
Landon admitted yesterday that he wasn't right all season. He wasn't healthy all season. It seemed like he wasn't alone in that regard. Could you sense that as the guy running behind those guys that they weren't 100% for most of the season? That play a part in this?
Those guys. Landon, he spoke on it, so I'll speak on it. He was banged up. I don't look at it like, that's the reason why we weren't successful. I look at it more as I know how important he is for our team and for our offense when he's on the field, no matter if he's 100% or he's 60%. There's a lot of things that he does that is not seen to make it out for our offense. So more for me, I look at it as more just appreciation of having the will and the fight to go out there, knowing that you might not be at your best, but go out there and give your all for your teammates. I respect that. I don't think that's necessarily the reason why we weren't as successful in the running game, or we weren't as successful as a team on offense. But there's so many things that go to it, and I really do wish that I could just point to one thing, and it would be a lot easier if we just had one reason, and that's just not the case. And we all got to do some self-reflecting and take some time away and enjoy our time with our families and let our body rest. And when it's time to go, get ready to go.
When you mentioned it's not only one thing. From the outside, Kevin Patullo is catching a lot of criticism as viewed as that one thing that was wrong with the offense. Your voice carries weight. Do you want him back as offensive coordinator? What did you see from him this year, in his first year on the job?
Yeah, I think you have to point the finger at one person. Like, that's what you guys have to do in your job. Somebody got to catch the blame, especially when we had the season we had the year before. Do I think that's fair? No, I don't think it's fair at all. I'll be the first one to say that. Did I play to the level I played last year? I don't think so. So I let him down. I let my teammates down. We all it's a group thing. I know you guys are gonna point at one person and say this and say that. It's a group effort, and I think I got nothing but positive things to say about KP as a man, as a coach. Just we fell short, and we as a collective. I want to make sure we get this. As a collective, didn't do enough, and that's just the truth in my life.
Can I ask you about the significance of the J. Brown uniform?
Yeah, he just gave me a jersey. Pretty much it.
Does it mean a lot to you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean a lot.
How did the season go for you?
It went smooth. Then ended the way I wanted to, but it ended all right.
Q, I asked Coop the same question. It's a guy who'll probably have some opportunities after this year. Christian Parker, he helped produce 2 first-team All-Pro corners. Just what has he meant to you in your young career?
Meant a lot, man. Helped me with development in my process, and it means a lot to me.
Q, what are you proudest of this year? You had a ton of accolades this season, and you really showed some growth. But what are you the most proud of?
Man, just the whole team. You know, how we came together, how we fought. The end of the way we wanted to, but just proud of the team.
How do you navigate that first series that had some kind of uncharacteristic plays we haven't seen from you?
Yeah, that happened to me in college. On the first play, I got beat on a double move, and it's just how you respond. You know, part of my life is just everything's not going to go your way. You just got to get up and respond.
I think on that second series, you had a PBU, and you kind of said something to their bench. It seemed like what was kind of going on there.
Nah, it was just hype and just turned up.
Where did you see the most growth in your game this year? Obviously, you had a great rookie year, but first team All-Pro, that's big time. It's very hard to achieve that. Where did you see the growth in your game?
Just had a mental aspect, just how I saw the game and how I prepared.
Do you remember what game in college that was?
Yeah, we played San Jose State. Got beat first play, slant and go for like 50 yards, and came back and had like 4 or 5 PBU. So I've been in that situation before. You know, I'm not going to back down. I know the defense need me, the team need me, so I'm just going to step up to the plate.
Is that tough to put that stuff out of your mind after it happens?
No, it's just like a good player or a bad play.
Quinyon, I'm sorry if you were asked this already, but you and Cooper both making All-Pro team. Just, I know you two are close, you came in together. What's that mean to you specifically to do it with him?
It just means a lot. Just all the time and hard work we spent together, so it just means a lot.
Where do you see the potential of this defense? I mean, a lot of you guys are pretty young on your rookie contracts. Like, how much better do you think this defense can get next year?
Yeah, man, we got to just put the work in and just put the work and effort in. So, yeah.
You ever even get an interception in the regular season?
Man, I get it when it matters the most, so yeah.
I noticed AJ left a jersey for you there. What's he done for your development as a player?
I mean, a lot. You know, it would have been hard for me to get better without him and Smitty and Jay Hurts. So it just means a lot to me.
You're one of only 4 players in history with 4 interceptions in the postseason.
Yeah.
At this age, 24 or younger. What's that mean to you that you've been able to make those plays in the biggest moments?
Yeah, it means a lot, man. Just want to get some in the regular season, but yeah, it means a lot.
You seem like in your first offseason that you were using the second offseason in terms of taking another step.
Yeah, probably sleeping, get my body back together, and then just working on the basics.
How much sleep?
A lot. Yeah, a lot. So, yeah.
Pay attention to other corners in the league, how they're used, how often they may have safety help, and just out of curiosity on your own.
Yeah, I watch just how they play and stuff like that, but I just try to focus on myself.
What's next for you and Coop? Got the All-Pro honors, another year in the league. What's the next step for you guys?
Yeah, just reflect and get better.
How do you go about that during the offseason? What do you do?
Just watching film and correcting mistakes and just getting better.
Do you watch film just of yourself or other corners?
Both. Yeah, both.
Like what?
Lately, I've been watching a lot of Kamar Lassiter from the Texans. So, yeah.
Who team the Pro Bowl?
I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know yet.
Do you consider Shaq respect the way, even if Vic has 2 safeties out, he might roll them both to the other side and leave you in 0?
I just try to do my job. So, yeah.
But did he say, I'm going to do that more for you this year? Like, was that, or did it just start happening?
It's kind of where it went.
Could it be as simple as if the 5 guys in the line next year are peak health going into the year and throughout the year? And when I say peak, I mean, like you said, everybody gets a little banged up along the way, but could it be that simple that everything is sort of back to the way it was in
I wish I had that answer for you. I would love to say yes. If 4 or 5 guys we're healthy, we're having a different conversation, but this is football. We can't control the things that happen. We can try all we can do is control what we can, as corny as that is, but I can't sit here and honestly tell you, we're having a different conversation if we're all healthy. It's week 19, week 18, week 19? Week 19?
Yeah.
No one's 100% in week 19. Unless you're coming from, you get hurt. Not even if you get hurt early in the season, you're coming back, you're not 100%. No one's 100%, so... Yeah,
that's what I meant by even given the kind of grind of the season. If everyone's just like back to what they were last year by the end of the year, is it that easy?
Can't tell you. Yeah, can't tell you.
I don't know how much thought you've given to it, but what do you want to accomplish this offseason?
I want to take care of my body, get it right. Take some time away, just for a mental break. I want to get my body right because when I come back and keep bringing championships back to Philly, and I honestly do. So I think, like I said, I think my play this year wasn't like it was in previous years, and I just think, if I can start by taking care of my body this year, if it's leaning out more, if it's figuring out what deficiencies I have in angle, I might be talking too much right now, but for the athletes out there, you know what I mean. Have my flexibility, work on that. If there's any deficiencies where I can see in my game that I need to improve on, that's what I'm going to take. I'm trying to see the silver lining and not progressing further in the playoffs. And the silver lining is I have time now to see where my deficiencies are at. And if that's what it takes to lead this team next year, and I'm going to do it.
Landon told us that he played for a lot this year. What kind of perspective did he give from behind the scenes of what he did to stay available?
Oh man, he battled his ass off week in and week out to be available for us, and I think there's no other way. Well, catch you, brother. Hey, rookie dinner tomorrow night. You wanna show up? Sorry, I'm trying to. We have 7 rookies. I'm going to go.
Yeah. Where are you going?
Can't tell you that.
I have all Philly sitting outside.
I have all Philly outside. He did everything he can to be available every week, and I was proud of the fight he showed us this year. And it was early on too, so he was fun all year for us. So I'm proud of him.
Did you at times this year on tape watch yourself and think, it's not stuff that I've done in the past? And what is your response? Like, how do you reconcile that? Did it make you think?
You have to put your pride aside and ego aside. Not pride. You got to put your ego aside and be like, hey, what am I doing wrong? You got to look at it from a perspective of what have I done differently this week to prepare, or what did I do differently on that play? How can I better improve it? Okay, I need to take a 2-inch lateral step more just to get my head in the right place, and I need to put my hand down the middle on the sternum and not to the outside of his chest plate. So it's just little details like that when you watch this year, you think, oh crap, like I could have been better there.
Mid-season, becoming an integral part of the defense and helping get this team to where it finished up.
I think it was a nice reassurance that being myself is all I ever need to be, both on the field and off the field. Just being myself, the guys embraced me, and I thought I fit in well with this team. So I thought that was a cool experience of coming somewhere new, kind of having the anxiety or nerves coming in, and just that being completely quelled very quickly, just by the guys that are around here. So.
What's your approach entering free agency?
I don't really know. It's up to my agent and ultimately up to me too. But this is my first experience with it, so I'm not really sure how it plays out. But we'll see. I'm excited.
How would you say your priorities lie as you go into free agency?
Obviously, I got a family now. I got a kid on the way, and so I got to think about that. But also, I want to be on a competitive team and in an environment where I love the guys I'm around and love the organization I'm playing for. So I feel that here. So yeah, we'll see.
Would it be tough to, you feel like you fit in here and then to move on? Would that be difficult for you on a personal level?
Yeah, I think it would be difficult. But I mean, that's kind of just what happened with the Dolphins too. I fit in with those guys very well. I was very close with a lot of guys and came here and fit in with these guys. So, ultimately I'm confident in myself that wherever I do end up, I'll be able to make the most out of it.
Have you gotten any indication from the team, I know season just ended, but either in season or since, about them wanting you back next year?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let them talk about that.
When you look at the defense as a whole, and obviously a lot of young guys on their rookie contracts, what do you think the potential is for this group next season and everything?
Yeah, I think we have great potential. Got a lot of talented guys, big, passionate guys. So I thought that we played really good defense this year overall, and still have a lot of things to improve on, but it's exciting.
What did you see specifically when you came in over the last couple months out of Jalen? Because he really hit his stride after you came here.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen is a stud. I think that ultimately competition breeds success, and I think he stepped up to the plate and has always improved. And I think the type of guy he is, he's always looking for ways to be better, and both as a person and as a player. So yeah, I love him.
Going forward in your career, what do you take most from Vic Fangio?
I mean, I'm not really sure. Just, he's a straightforward guy, and gives it to you straight. So I appreciate that out of him. He's always believed in me, and that means a lot to me for sure. But yeah.
Jalen, what do you take from this experience when you have a couple of weeks to reflect, when you look back at your short time but impactful time here at the Eagles? What do you think you'll remember?
Just the closeness of this group. I had a great time coming to work every day. A special group of guys being around that. So that'll always stick with me for sure.
Just becoming more comfortable on the field was the biggest thing, and trusting my preparation and trusting my abilities as a player. I think as a rookie, you see all these guys across from you who you've watched in the NFL, and you might not have that confidence that just because it's some big name, but really everybody's not the same, but everybody's just another football player on the same level that you're on. So I think I've grown in understanding that, and just my confidence in my preparation and what I've put into the games each and every week.
As you go into year 3, do you want the same role, or do you want a chance to be full-time on the outside?
I like playing inside. I like playing inside, being involved in the run game. And I feel like I have the abilities to do that at that position. But obviously it's not up to me. But that's what I'd like to do. And I'm just ready to really get back to work already. It's a long ways away, but I'm excited for who we have in this locker room to be able to get a chance to roll it out there again.
What will you miss most about this specific locker room, since it seems likely every year brings change?
Yeah, there's going to be changes. That's what happens in this league. Just how everybody went through the ups and downs together, I think is the biggest thing. There's so many ups and downs, a lot of downs there in the 4-game losing streak, and we found a way to pick it back up, and just the guys in the locker room never changed. Keeping it light, with a ton of focus out there on the practice field and a ton of focus on game day, and just enjoying it, enjoying the moments.
You and AJ have obviously a pretty good relationship. How do you think you guys helped each other through this year?
It's been awesome just to build a close relationship with him. Starting in OTAs, him pushing me to be the best player I can be on that field, and I appreciate him for that. And I know there was a lot of ups and downs, for him throughout the season too. But that's a guy that I admire, watching him work and the way how passionate he is about the game and how much he wants to win. But I think him, pushing me this off season and during the season, just keeping my confidence up. I really appreciate that, and I definitely, wouldn't. He played a big role in, my success this year.
It seemed like a fun off season last year. Are you going to allow yourself to enjoy it again this year?
I mean, you got to take a little break, and enjoy it. Obviously, it's a little different than last year, So, yeah, I'm gonna take some time, let the body heal a little bit, and then, get back to work. Obviously, you got a little more time, this off season than last. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that rest and then getting back to work.
This is the first time you're ending a season without a Super Bowl ring in your very young career. How do you harness the emotions, the feeling that you're experiencing right now moving forward?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it still really doesn't feel real. Probably won't until tomorrow when I don't got anything to do. But just trying to use this, feeling that I have right now, and I know a lot of guys feel the same way, just to push in the off season to put that work in, to try and come back better next year, and put more into it this next season, so we can try and get to the top again. Because at the end of the day, that's everybody's goal, is to get to the top, and only one team can get there. It's about your process, what you're going to do this off season to try and get back there.
As an All-Pro entering year 3, do you feel like a foundation player here, someone whose voice carries weight?
I feel like definitely in the room. I feel like I've grown as a leader, and in the locker room, become more vocal. I'm not a too serious guy, so I don't know. I like to keep things light, but I feel like that's my way of leading. Making sure everybody's having fun and enjoying the moment while being serious, and bringing the young guys along from my experiences and what I experienced last year in my first year. Try to bring those guys along who were first year players, and going to do that next year too.
I'm not asking you specifically to comment on someone else's business, but obviously you and Reed are close, you're associated with each other. He's entering free agency. Have you thought about the possibility that you guys might not be teammates or might not be out there together?
I haven't really put too much thought into that. Obviously, it's crossed my mind a couple times, especially after the game last night. But it's a business. Obviously, I want Reed back here. I'm sure all these guys in this locker room want him back here. But it's a business, and he's got to do what's best for him. But I damn sure hope it's here.
And adding on Zach's question, another person who probably have some more opportunities to help produce 2 first-team All-Pro corners is Christian Parker. Obviously, what has he meant to you in your young career?
Man, I could say a lot of things about him. What he's meant to me, and Q too. We've had a routine of me and Q go meet with him 2 or 3 times a week, just to go over the team we're playing, and talk about different looks. And I don't think I'd be the player I am, or I'd have the success that I've had without him. He's poured a lot into me, and Q too, ever since we got here, and I appreciate him for that. And not everybody notices him, or he doesn't get the recognition that I think he should. But him and Coach Casper, what those guys mean to us, in the DB room, and how they coach, the intensity they bring, the passion they have for the game, means a lot to us, and doesn't go unnoticed.
I think that's the toughest part for me. When you spend so much time with these guys, you spend damn near 7 months together, damn near 12 hours of the day with each other. You know, it's hard. You get to know those people on a personal level. Like, I know Reed's and, like, N'Kobe's New Year's resolution on a deeper level, like why they want to, you know, do things that they want to do this year and accomplish the things they do. And, you know, it's something that you can't replace. You really can't replace that. You can get another guy, but you can't replace those people and those memories and those, just everything about those, everything. But, you know, they're going to be amazing players wherever they're at. So I'm not really worried about that aspect. It's just, you know, it just sucks.
What do you think will be your lasting memory of the season?
The locker room, man. The locker room. All the talks that we had. I'm sure y'all been present for a lot of them. But just the locker room. I think this is my favorite place. And anywhere, like any team that I've been a part of, being in the locker room is the best place, from high school to college to now. You spend a lot of time in here. You learn a lot about people in here. You fight. Families fight, but I'm so proud. I'm just so proud. The resiliency of these guys. You know, it didn't shake out how we wanted to. I'm sure people in Philadelphia, you know, they calling for our heads on a stick, but I'm just really proud of the guys. And, you know, I don't regret anything in this season. I don't regret anything that I've done. I don't regret anything that anybody has done in this season. I leave with a clear heart, clear mind, and a renewed focus. Pain can change you. Pain can grow. But you really have to make that decision.
What's the next step for you? I mean, you made big strides this year. How do you keep it going?
My next step is the rest and reset. After a long season like this, you have to take some time off. You have to back up and reassess and, you know, just devote your time and your effort into something else that's greater than yourself. And, you know, actually, like, you know, I got a lot of hobbies I want to get to. I think that's a big thing for me. And, you know, when that time comes in April, obviously staying in shape and everything, but that's X's and O's aside. But
I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel like you can take your game to another level beyond this year?
Definitely, and I feel like that's for every player. And if you don't think that you can, you're probably in the wrong profession. That's a given, though. That's a given. You know, you have to put a plan in place. But the fact that you don't care about my hobbies is a little crazy.
I do. I was like, wait.
I'm just playing.
What are your hobbies? What are you getting to?
So I'm going to take some golfing lessons. I'm getting into bass guitar. So you know, those are the two big things. And then reading is a big thing for me. Got to read a couple books. I finished my book for the month. So anything else after this month is extra. And then not thinking about football. You know, I don't want to watch a game where somebody else wins it, but I'm sure I have to see it at some point. But yeah, just taking a step back and really connecting with who I am as a person and myself. I think that was the biggest thing for last offseason and going into this offseason.
What was the book that you read?
It was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Excuse my language, but Coach Clint gave it to us in the beginning of the season. I finally got around to reading it. Now I'm on fourth wing.
That's great.
I heard.
We need to have a conversation after that.
Is the contract extension important this offseason?
Whatever happens. Like I said, I'm not GM. I'm not my agent. I can only be the best player I can be, work on myself, and then when that time comes, that time comes.
What do you or the team learn about the type of season you guys had this year? You know, kind of the up and down nature of it.
Just being resilient and being consistent. You know, it's going to have to be like you're going to have to. It is hot, isn't it? I'm like over here sweating. I'm not even doing nothing. Being resilient. Finding ways to improve, even if you don't have quite the best game. Finding ways to get better from that. Growing from that. Understanding what your values are. I can only speak on the defensive perspective, but knowing what our values are, how do we want to go into the season, how do we want to play, the standard that we hold for ourselves. I think that's all important.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
What do you feel like you learned most?
What I feel like I learned most? It's a good question. What I learned most? Probably just like managing everything, right? I mean, you know, you coming from, and I mean, everybody pretty much, you know, went through this process, but just going from college into the league and, you know, having to, you know, understand, you know, like what's that task, right? Like especially for, you know, first round rookie, it's not like, oh yeah, I got time to, you know, just, you know, sit the bench and relax. Like no, it's time to, you know, actually work. It's time to learn. It's time to grow. Like right now, and you know, it's no shortcuts to it, right? It's all about, you know, continuous improvement each and every day, and you know, just wanting to be better, the best version of yourself each and every day.
How do you attack this offseason knowing, you know, there's a decent chance you're going to come back here with a starting job for yourself? How do you approach this offseason? What's your plan?
I mean, just hungry for real. You know, just of course I'm gonna give myself some grace, of course, you know, and just relax and, you know, get my mind off of things. But you know, more importantly, just, you know, just stay sharp spiritually, stay sharp physically, stay sharp mentally, and you know, and really do what I have to do to be the best absolute version of myself. You know, so when I come back, you know, I'm making sure that I'm staying on top of everything that I have to do.
Anything specific that you learned from the coach this year?
I mean, it's a damn good football player. Learned a lot from that guy, man. And just, you know, in the run game and blitzes and in the passing game, really just being a baller, being an absolute person who, you know, knows football in general. You know, I feel like it's hard to come around guys that, you know, really know football and really can dissect it in the way of, you know, a simple format. And that's what he does, and you know, that's why he's one of the best linebackers in the world. So
you feel like you can take something from him?
Yeah, I feel like if he played linebacker, he probably could take something. That's good.
How do you kind of view your positional future in the sense that, you know, when you were drafted, it was this guy can play linebacker, he can play the edge. You did a little bit of both this year. I mean, how do you view yourself long term? I mean, in the next year or two.
I think it's all about the value, right? And you know how good you can be at anything that you're put in. You know, whether that's being an R3 or L3 on kickoff or punt return or, you know, any of those things on special teams. But I think for me the biggest thing is all about, like, you know, just being trusted and being able to be a great utilization in the scheme of, you know, wherever they want me to be at, whether that's, you know, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, you know, just making sure, like I said earlier, just making sure that I'm on top of my things and, you know, just having continuous improvement. So.
The coaching staff give you anything specific that they wanted you to work on this offseason?
Not necessarily, really. Just, you know.
Is there anything that you wanted?
Definitely, of course. I mean, really want to work on everything. It's not like nothing specific, but it's more so like everything, really, you know. So.
Jihaad, a lot of growth in a rookie season, but what are you most proud of about yourself?
I feel like just getting up each and every day and like coming to work, right? Like, you know, you got people that work in, you know, in the regular life and stuff like that, and you know, they have trials and tribulations. But in this game, in this industry, you know, it's a lot of, you know, things that, you know, people deal with, like mental health wise. And I feel like, I'm not saying like I deal with it, but like, you know, just like the other people that have those tough times and have those battles within each other. And I feel like, you know, it's hard, man, just going through a whole season and, you know, having that urge of, you know, understanding like what's that task and what needs to be done, especially like after a loss, especially, you know, after, you know, somebody probably got traded and now, you know, you got to step into a role, or now you got to, you know, just be ready for whatever to come. But, you know, most importantly, man, I'm really blessed and really honored and really grateful, you know, just to be here, you know, be among, you know, this great organization, you know, that's here.
After a year with Vic Fangio, what do you appreciate about him as a defensive coordinator?
Just really like the learning part, really. I mean, you know, some of the stuff that I was taught, I never really knew. And, you know, it's always good to just, you know, like sit down and analyze that, right, and understand it, especially from a vet DC, like, you know, like Vic Fangio, who coached greats like Patrick Willis or like Navarro Bowman, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's always great to have a guy like that around, you know, and I know that he's going to continue to be one of the best D coordinators in the world. So.
How about Bobby? Is there anything that really took away from?
Yeah. I mean, Bobby's a straight up dude. You know, it's no like he's going to give you the absolute straight up answer no matter what. So I think, you know, just having that type of coach is always great, especially in my corner when, you know, things aren't really going well or things might be going well. And, you know, you're just trying to understand something. And, you know, and with him, it's like he's going to give you a straight-up answer no matter what or no matter how you feel. So I feel as though, you know, that relationship is going to continue to grow and, you know, just continue to be better.